Welcome back to Collector Not Hoarder. This is Tom, and today I'm going to be running through some pickups that I've made over the last few weeks, getting a little stack building up here, so I figured I'd share some of them with you. We'll jump right in and get started with this beautiful, what I believe to be about 1890-ish cigar box label for Allen & Ginter Champion set, the N28, N29 set, and the main feature on here was this John Sullivan, which, I mean, this thing looks incredible in person. These colors are super vibrant. It pops. It's gorgeous. And it came in a trade card lot that I had picked up on eBay. And one of the other pieces that came in that lot was this Y96 George Washington. And this is one of the larger die cuts. You got the Y95s, which are smaller, probably about half the size of this. But this is one of the large ones, and it does have a little tear right underneath his chin. I think if there's going to be a tear, I think it's pretty good placement for it. Just kind of blends in with him. But yeah, these were both part of a lot that I purchased. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stick this guy up in here just so there's a little something in the background. But next is a trade card, kind of generic trade card. This is for Bell's Buffalo Soap, but I didn't really buy it for the front. I bought it for the advertisement on the back. And this advertisement is for Pillsbury Dining Hall, which was located in Marietta, Ohio. I lived in Marietta, Ohio for several years. And it says that this dining hall was at 134 Front Street, and there's actually a restaurant at 130 Front Street now, so I'm wondering if this dining hall is now that restaurant that's still there that I've been to several times, and maybe they just renumbered the street at some point. But whenever I saw something from an area that I lived in and potentially a restaurant I've been in before, this is, from the 1800s, so pretty neat that something like that exists that I've been to and still there. So thought that was a cool piece to add. Next is an 1890 N102 Honest Long Cut, and this is from a bridge set. And so kind of like what I mentioned in that last trade card, I lived in Marietta. Marietta is in southeast Ohio, if you're not familiar. It's right along the Ohio River. And this bridge is the Kentucky-Indiana bridge, but it spans over the Ohio River. So anything I can do to incorporate cards into my personal life, I really enjoy doing that. But one of the key features of this card to me is the back. The back of this thing is just phenomenal. Probably one of the coolest backs to a card, how they incorporate the bridge into the honest title in there. Very neat. I'm a sucker for nice looking backs of cards. I mean, obviously the artwork on the front of this is gorgeous, but I think the back is really what does it for me. So I knew I wanted a card from this set, and I just had to find some kind of meaning with one of the bridges on the front, and this was definitely one that stuck out to me. Next, I know some people have showed cards similar to this before, but this is kind of like a precursor to The Sandlot. So 100 years before The Sandlot even was a movie, these trade cards came out, and this says, "Grab the ball, Jimmy, I'll wait for you here." And so you can see the little guy wanting to get the ball from the dog, kind of protecting the ball, and his buddy's on the other side of the fence. So I picked this one up actually several months ago, and whenever I got it, this piece here on the side is actually the top of the card. The seller that mailed it to me mailed it in like a little Ziploc baggie, and the baggie was too small for the card, and during shipping, the baggie sealed across the top of the card. It got compressed and it tore the card. So I wasn't super happy about that, but I really wanted this one. So what I've done over the last few months is I watched for variations of this card, because it's considered a baseball trade card just because of the ball in it, and that's typically what I collect a lot of trade cards of. And so I try to find variations of this card, and so I've come across a few. and just kind of add them as I find them. So disappointed in the first one that I had that got ruined, but I've managed to add a few more that are just like it, just different variations of it. I think it's a great depiction of the dog protecting the ball on the card from the boy. But let's see, what else? I'm gonna go to some more baseball trade cards. These are the H804-36. And these are tough ones to come across. These are blank backs, so there's no advertisement on the back. But these actually come in what is called a scorecard set as well. So you would see them, they would actually be more of a full card, and on the back it would have a scorecard for keeping score at the ball games, I guess, if you wanted to. But they were a trade card, and I think they have awesome imagery on them as well. I mean, that's one of the main things that attracts me to a lot of these old trade cards is the images on them. Just beautiful cards. You saw on that one that they do have rough backs to them, but these are super difficult to get. So the backs of them, not a big deal to me because the fronts look great. But these were actually in a bulk deal that I did with a seller. They had a pile of cards and I got them to lump them all together. So I essentially got those cards for, I think, 30 bucks a piece. So I was pretty happy with that. This is another one that came in that bulk lot. This is an H804-205. And it's got a really nice back on it as well. Nice advertisement for Whitney pianos. Let's see, also in that lot, I was actually able to get a Marshall and Ball. This is from the Circle Position series, the H804-11. This is the center fielder. And these are great cards. You can see there's a little slice taken out of the corner, but overall, nice presentation for this card. I think I ended up getting 12 different baseball trade cards in that lot from that seller, but some of the other ones I'm actually selling. And if you didn't know, I sell stuff on eBay. I sell stuff under collector.not.hoarder on eBay, and I also have an IG account. And my IG account, I add pictures to it all the time of my pickups. So if you follow my IG, you see that I've posted some of these that I'm sharing right now already. So yeah, definitely check out my IG account. I'll leave a link to it in the description here. But this is a kind of a one-off baseball trade card. This doesn't have like a set that goes with this, but just thought it was unique with the brownies and this big pea pod and a baseball game going on in the background. It's a blank back. You can see it's really thin cardstock. You can see the ink through it very well. Most of these are very thin cardstock. Next is an H804-237. This is kind of a sneaky cool baseball trade card. All it really is that makes it a baseball one is him holding this bat right here. But it's for Little Red Schoolhouse Shoes. And this one comes up, but people don't typically list it correctly, so you can find them for pretty good prices. I think I got this for 25 bucks, but I've also seen it sell when it's listed correctly for 140. So you always got to keep an eye out for kind of generic listings of some of these things to be able to pick them up cheap, because if they're listed properly, they're typically listed for a high price, and that's not how I buy most of my stuff. I usually try to get my stuff at a deal or a steal. So I try not to overspend on some of the trade cards because I want to get so many of them, but it takes me a while to find them. Let's see, next up, I'm gonna go with, so this is one of my baseball trade cards that I've had for a little while, one of my more favorite ones out of my collection, and this is 1882 Vogel Brothers. And this is a really nice copy of it. You can see it got authentic. So this card should always be authentic because it is actually the cover of a little booklet or a pamphlet. And it would be right along this edge that it would be cut. So whoever did this one did a really clean job kind of cutting this one off of the booklet. But it's got a really nice back to it as well. So if you ever see this card with a numerical grade, just know that it's graded incorrectly because they are all authentic. And that leads me into what I was super excited to find, which is this. This is the actual booklet. So this is the card, and that's the back of the card, but I have the actual booklet that this came from. So Vogel Brothers Fashions, it shows all these different suits you could purchase from them. It's a very neat little booklet, and I was thrilled to be able to find this, to actually have an example that is super clean and intact that goes with one of my favorite trade cards. So this was an awesome piece to be able to track down and find, and saw somebody listed it, and definitely clicked the button about as fast as I could to buy it, because I think they had it as a best offer, but I didn't even want to mess around with that. I just picked it up because I didn't want to lose it. I mean, I don't know if I would consider it overpaying, but I definitely paid up for it. Let's see. Next this is a very early hockey trade card. Now, this was in a scrapbook that I purchased, and I was able to get this out of the scrapbook, and it came out really nice. There's just this little fleck right here of a little bit of paper loss, but overall, this thing's super clean. I believe this is, they say it's roughly like 1880 for this one. There are some hockey trade cards that are like late 1870s, but this is still an early one that is one that I had been searching for a while. So like I said before, I buy a lot of scrapbooks, and I usually pick out some stuff that I want and then sell the rest off. But this was a nice copy of this card that I definitely wanted to get. Let's see, next are postcards that I picked up. This is from the World's Columbian Exposition, so the fair that was in Chicago in 1893. These were some of the first commercially produced postcards for the general public. You got Grant here on the back of the postcard. It says United States of America. And this was obviously well before they had the dividing line on these, because I don't think that came until 1907-ish, somewhere in there. So these are 1893 postcards. And you got Grover Cleveland on the front of this with the eagle and the flag. And then this one you got Christopher Columbus. Now, since these were probably considered to be like mass produced at the time, you can definitely find these on eBay. They show up quite a bit. To get them clean, crease free, and not trimmed, because you see them trimmed quite a bit. A lot of people took this like white edge off of them. So if you see them that are missing the white edge, see, it looks like this side doesn't have the white edge, but these are both identical sizes. So I know that neither one of these are trimmed, but they are really nice examples and stuff I like to add. You know, I do postcards, trade cards, you know, some of this stuff that's slightly oversized I like. Oh, this piece, really neat. This is an 1885 trade card for the Franklin Institute. You can see it says 1885 up there, and copyright 1885 down here in the bottom. But it was for an exhibition at the Franklin Institute, and it has the image of Benjamin Franklin on it. And I had never seen one of these before, and it's even got some dating on it too. So definitely a neat trade card. This was one that once I saw it, I shot an offer on it so I could snag it. But beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. What are we going to jump into now? Jump into, let's see. This is, let's see, we'll go with these. Sorry. These are 1890s Lions Coffee. I believe these could be like game cards, and these are of authors. You know, I have Shakespeare here, Longfellow, and Charles Dickens. So these were super cheap. I think I got the complete set here, or not complete set, but at least these three plus a couple others that were in that. I think I paid $5 altogether for all of them. So I just thought they were cool. I got the advertisement for the Lion Coffee on the back. Pretty neat. And then one very similar card, but this one's actually from 1905. But it was a Theodore Roosevelt one for Lion Coffee. Also, you know, looks to be like some kind of game card. So this one, 1905. Let's see. Then I got these. I picked these all up from the same seller. These are 1889 H600s. I ended up getting 2 George Washingtons and a Thomas Jefferson. These are super nice copies. They have the Sells, Schwab & Co. advertisement on the bottom. And then on the back, they all look really nice. The seller had a bunch of different ones, and these were the 3 that I snagged. But I was super happy to get these. I'll probably end up selling one of them. I actually have, I think, a third George Washington that I've had for a little bit while longer that I got from a different seller, but that one's off being graded right now. These will probably be sent off to be graded as well. But loved adding those. Let's see. We're gonna jump up to 1908 to some Felix Potin cards. Felix Potin. I got a Monet, a Buffalo Bill, Colonel Cody card, and a Teddy Roosevelt. This is a variation. There is a different image that they use for this same year for another Roosevelt card. I have that one, but I don't have it with me right now to show you the variation, but they got some staining on the back, but that's pretty typical for some of these cards because most of them are glued into albums. Let's see. We're gonna go with, these are 1910. I have a T218 Jack Johnson that came in a lot, and then these are T219s. So they're very similar to the T218. They're just slightly different size, and they have slightly different, not slightly, but different advertisement on the back. You can see that the T218 is a little bit bigger than this T219, but they have the same width to them. But this is a Stanley Ketchel card. He's a Hall of Fame boxer, along with Sam Langford, Hall of Fame, and everybody knows Jack Johnson if you follow vintage boxing. But these are, you know, a little bit rough condition, but these T219s are tough cards to get. They're a little bit more rare than what the T218s are. The T218 is like a multi-sport set, whereas the T219 is just strictly boxing, and it is the same image though from the T218 set. Just these have honest long cut backs to them, where the T218 has Hassan and Mecca, and I believe Tolstoy might be the other one. But with these you get honest long cut, Red Sun, I believe, is a super tough one to get, and then there's a Miners Extra. And you can also see that there are color variations here in the ink. This is a black ink used on the back of this one, and this is a green ink used on the back of this one. So these are tough to get, so I was happy to add these. These came in a lot, but with the Jack Johnson one here, This one, like I said, I picked this up in a lot, and I was able to get in that same lot a Hassan cork tip box. So this was the tobacco box or the cigarette box that these would come in. And you see it says push this end, and it's got the stamp on the back, but you just slide this up. I'll just pull this out one time. But the other cards that came in this lot, I just decided to stick in the box, but this lot had almost all the Hall of Famers that you wanted. So obviously the Jack Johnson, Joe Gans, Joe Jeanette, James Jeffries, both of his cards from the set. There's the Sam Langford. So it's got a ton of cards, and I was able to pick all these up with the box. The Jack Johnson, I think I got them all for $100. So typically that's what the Jack Johnson's gonna cost you in the condition that I got there. You'd pay $100 easy just for the Johnson. So I was very happy whenever I got that. Next, I added the Louis Chevrolet card to my 1911 T36 auto driver set. This is a tough card, rough shape, but my goodness, I loved whenever I won the auction on this one. Couldn't have been more happy about that this one ended up in my collection. So I'm trying to build the Hassan set, which I've mentioned before is just a 25 card set. And I think I have maybe about 20 of them now, so I just need a handful more. But the one I was probably most excited to add was this one. This is the Barney Oldfield. He is a Hall of Fame auto driver, and this is probably my most favorite card from the set, and probably up there with some of my most favorite pre-war cards overall. He just looks so gritty in this, smoking his little stogie there. But this card is in very nice condition. I was happy with it. This was one card I actually did a trade for. So I traded off some cards to get this and add it to the collection. That's not something I typically do, but in this case, it made sense to do it. So I was definitely happy when I got that. And it's a beautiful copy. Let's see. Oh, these are interesting. This was an interesting purchase. So I've showed these previously. This is a Frank Chance and a Christy Mathewson from the T202 triple folders. So these are just the side panels from the triple folders. I'd gotten these in a small lot that I think total paid $50 for. So both of these came in that lot. And what I was able to do recently was I found another lot that people were selling some more side panels. So these were all included together. So I was able to get another Christy Mathewson. I was able to add the Cy Young. And actually, I'll just show you the back here real quick. The Cy Young and a Ty Cobb. So there was a couple other cards in this lot that went with these, but these were the three main ones that I was shooting after. And so with all five of these, so the two Mathewsons, the Frank Chance, Cy Young, and Ty Cobb, I think I'll have about $50 a piece into these. So I was super happy with that. I know the Ty Cobb probably going to be the most valuable out of them, but these were auctioned on eBay, bad listing titles, but also probably people don't care as much about just the side panel. But for me, I'm not going to be able to afford the full card, so I was happy just to get these. So very cool additions to my collection. Let's see, we're gonna jump all the way up to 1916, and this is an MJ Moriarty 1960 Charlie Chaplin. This is actually from a deck of cards. This was, I guess, kind of considered one of his like quote-unquote rookie cards. So one of his earlier cards that comes in like a standard card format, because I have some earlier postcards of him, but when you get standard size, I think that's what more people are going after. So that's one of them. And then I also got this 1919 Charlie Chaplin Silk. This is for Cinema Star Home Mirror. And this was just a beautiful silk that I was super happy to pick up. I don't see very many of these come up, so I was happy whenever I got to add that one. And staying along Chaplin, I got this postcard. I believe this is late 1910s, so maybe like 1918, 1919 for this postcard. This is a blank back. There's a series of these. If you follow the serial number down here, this is 11675B, and I actually have 11675A as well. And I've seen J and K, so I think there's a whole string of these out there that go to this series, but I'm going to start keeping an eye out for these. Next is a 1929 exhibit supply postcard of stamps for the Little Rascals, or Our Gang, and I just thought this was a neat piece to add. I like anything like Little Rascals or Our Gang from back in the 20s or 30s, and you'll actually see that coming up here because I added a PSA 7 of Spanky from 1932. This is a British American tobacco card. I believe this is the highest graded. I think there are 2 7s, but no 8s, 9s, or 10s, so cool card to add. This was super unique, and I never knew that I wanted a card of a dog until I saw this. And this is in 1933, I guess you say that, Bashari, and it's of Petey from the Little Rascals. It's got a really cool back to it, Mercedes. And I saw that and had to have it. So I actually got both of these from the same seller. They were 2 auctions, and I won both auctions. But pretty happy with those. And let's see, last but not least, a single card of John D. Rockefeller. This is from 1934, Eckstein and Halpus. This is graded a 2, which obviously irrelevant because, I mean, this thing's clean, centered, sharp. The back looks nice. I think what caused it was that little mishap in the paper right there with that M. So that'll kind of throw you off. That'll ding you way down, but I think I got this pretty much for the cost of grading to get this card. I like getting Rockefeller cards. I'm in the oil and gas industry, and so anything with early Rockefeller I like to pick up. And oh, actually I did have one more set that I picked up. I ended up getting, let me see if I can fit these on the screen. I ended up getting the complete 1911 Wills boxers, and these are all the scissor backs to these cards. This is a set that I've had a handful of singles from, but this popped up as a complete set over in the UK, and so I bid on it and shockingly won it for way less than what I had my max bid set at. So I was happy to get that. I mean, you got big boxers in here. I mean, you got Sam Langford. It's got Jack Johnson in here, and I think I paid less for the set than what I would pay just to get the Jack Johnson card. So I was very happy to add these. Like I said, they are the scissor back, so scissor cigarettes. There are what's called a green star and circle backs to the same set. So there's 2 sets. It's a 36 card set, but they have 2 different backs to them. But I think we've gone long enough, guys. We're at that 30-minute mark, like kind of where I typically hit doing these pickup videos. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this. Check out my IG if you want to see some pickups kind of as I get them instead of waiting for a video. And don't forget, there's a fine line between a collector and a hoarder. Which one are you?